I was just back in New York for the first time in over 3 years, and while I was there, I was digging through some of my old stuff when I found the first manga I ever purchased, that being Rahxephon at 3 volumes. I still have my receipt from the first volume. I was probably using it as a bookmark. It is dated December 20th, 2004. So here's the story behind the purchase. I'm stuck at the Pittsburgh airport in December of 2004 trying to get home from college when turns out my flight is delayed, so I start wandering around the airport trying to kill some time, and I stumble into a bookstore that has one of these newfangled manga shelves, something I'm seeing for the first time probably in 2003, so in 2004 it's still kind of new, but in this 1 year time span I have yet to buy any manga. The problem being twofold. First of all, if I had heard of a title before, chances are it already had an anime, in which case I would rather just watch the anime. On the other hand, if I'd never heard of it before, I'm reluctant to spend money on it because I might not end up liking it. So that doesn't leave much middle ground, but in the case of Rahxephon, when I see that on the shelf, I'm thinking, this might be it right here, because I had seen the first few episodes and I did like them, but my download corrupted around episode 5 and I was unable to find an alternate source for the rest, so this was my chance to continue with something that I knew that I liked. So I suck it up, I pay $10, buy the first volume, find an empty seat at the terminal, and I start reading it. This manga is hilarious, and unexpectedly so, because the first few episodes of the anime took themselves really seriously, at least as far as I can remember, but this manga is just nothing but jokes from start to finish, and I am cracking up the whole time. So I get home, I do a little more research, I find out this manga is only 3 volumes long. Let me just read the whole thing. At worst, it is $30 total. I ended up buying volumes 2 and 3 together. I don't have my original receipt from that one, but I do have a train ticket stub from my trip from Pittsburgh to Chicago for spring break that year, so I must have read these around March of 2005. Like Volume 1, Volumes 2 and 3 kept up with the comedy, and that was by far their strongest points. It was almost like these were official doujinshi, and I'd never even heard of that term back then, let alone read one, but it has that same kind of feel to it where you take these established characters from perhaps a more serious kind of story, and you throw them into these fan servicey type of situations. That's basically what this series was from start to finish, and that was the most enjoyable aspect of them. Now, the other aspects of the story, like plot, character development, obviously you're going to be limited with only 3 volumes. Character development, I would say they did the main 2 characters pretty well, but all the side characters got little to none. Plot-wise, once again, there's only so much you can do in 3 volumes, so they had to skip a few things, kind of rush through a few things. I would say the plot was even still good through 2 volumes, but by volume 3, they kind of had to cram in an ending, and it's okay, but not great. Okay, so I would say a double plus for the manga just because it is hilarious, but once again, not all that serious of a plot. Now, while we're on the topic, let's just do a quick review of the anime, which I ended up watching around 2013. Everything pointed to me liking the anime. I liked the first 3 episodes I watched back in 2003, I liked the manga, and I'd heard there were 2 kinds of people, Evangelion fans and Rahxephon fans. When I watched Evangelion back in 2008, thought it was kind of a train wreck, so I figured I would come down on the Rahxephon side of the debate. But when I watched the whole thing in 2013, it just felt like it was missing something. Obviously, it didn't have the humor of the manga, and that was to be expected, but compared to Evangelion, just wasn't that fucked up. And I thought that was going to be a good thing, but I constantly found myself thinking, I wish this were a bit more fucked up like Evangelion. And by the end, I was thinking, Rahxephon just feels like Evangelion light. That's not to say it's bad, I think it's still single plus good, but between the 2 of them, I would definitely want to rewatch Evangelion rather than Rahxephon, and someday I surely will. I haven't seen the movies, so those would probably come first, but still, I have so much to get to, so that would be way down the line. In any case, single plus for Rahxephon the anime, double plus for the manga, although in the case of the manga, I definitely have a lot of nostalgia, especially regarding Volume 1, so it is the guilty pleasure kind of double plus.